Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estela.
And welcome to
Cafecito.
And Crime.
Yes, welcome to Cafecito and Crime because this is Crime with Cafecito.
Really? It is? Do we have Crime with Cafecito today?
Yeah.
Absolutely, we do.
Right now. Because I have the crime and we have the cafecito, you know?
You have the crime and I have the gingerbread or the Green Bay, according to Stella, coffee with cinnamon
Yes.
and half.
Right.
Right. And then Estela got what?
A sugar-free vanilla latte
Wow.
with 2% milk.
Oh, yeah. We were just talking about how we didn't know what's the difference.
Wow.
I don't know.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to go crazy and I'm going to do whole milk.
Crazy.
And then Barbie's like, te vas a cagar. I'm like, no, because I'm not lactose intolerant. You know, I'm fine. But then I was like, you know what? Let me do 2%.
Just in case.
I didn't want to pay the extra charge.
You never know.
to switch milks.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah. No. So
you understand?
We understand.
Yeah.
So how have you been today, sister?
Today, good. Let me think. What did I do today?
I know today was a weird day for me. So
I worked out.
Me too. I did both of those.
I feel like, yeah, I think I had like a good day.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Like standard. No, I could have had
standard. Perfect word. Yes,
I could have had a better day, pero ¿sabes qué? Pues
standard.
Es pasa lo que pasa and we just move it along, girl.
Yeah, and now we're here.
Oh, Estela, tell everybody what you did yesterday.
What did I do yesterday?
You drank your tea.
Oh, yes. I finally drank tea.
Bravo.
Like a week and a half or two into my New Year's resolution.
Bravo.
I finally drank tea.
Yeah.
I thought I had bought some when I went to the grocery store, but I didn't. I completely forgot. But I finally had a cup of tea.
De manzanilla.
The manzanilla chamomile.
Yeah.
Chamomile.
I had no tea, pero I continued to keep minding my business. Just want everybody to know that.
And then you remind other people to mind their business.
My sister.
Yeah.
My sister, she needs to be minding her business and she doesn't listen.
But you remind her. So
I do.
That's that.
Le digo, hey, ¿qué te dije?
Yeah.
Mind your business. Todos los días.
Pero I mean, that's all you can do is just try.
That's what we're doing in 2026. Right?
Drinking tea, minding your business.
Minding your business.
And trying.
That's it.
You know?
That's all we can do. So, what do you got for us today, sister?
Okay, so for today's case, we are going to just outside of Bolivar, Ohio. Bolivar.
Ohio.
Sí.
Have we been to Ohio? Yes, we've been to Ohio.
Yeah, we've been to Ohio.
But I don't think Bolivar.
No, Bolivar, Ohio. It's right outside Stark County. Or it's in Stark County, I'm sorry. So that's where we're going. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you would like to come with us to Bolivar, Ohio, go ahead and grab your cafe. Oh, wow. If you would like to come with us to Bolivar, Ohio, go ahead and grab your cafecitos.
And let's get started. The first fun, random, interesting fact about Bolivar is that it is the home to Fort Lawrence, which was the only fort built in what is now Ohio during the Revolutionary War.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
The only fort.
The only fort.
Wow.
And
right.
it was very instrumental in, the revolution.
In forting.
In forting?
In forting.
Like,
Estaba, pero you were just forting.
It was the fort.
The fort.
And they were
okay.
like,
we had the fort.
It's Fort Lawrence.
We had to do the forting stuff.
Yeah, Fort Lawrence forted.
Yeah, it's forting. Yeah. Y luego?
Yeah. Now, so even Bolivar now, it's like known as a village because it's really small. Was named after Simón Bolivar.
Es todo.
Simón Bolivar. Who was a famous leader who helped many South American countries gain their independence.
That's what's up.
And it's not Simon. No, es Simón. Porque Simón, when I looked up his name,
tiene un accent.
No, tenía la apóstrofe.
Wow, el apóstrofe.
Tenía ¿cómo se llama el de ese?
El acento.
¿Es el acento?
Sí.
Okay, sí.
On top of the O.
Yeah.
Or I.
No me acuerdo.
It's Simón.
Mon.
No, it's Simón.
Mamon.
No,
So it's on top of the O.
Yes, it's on the O.
Right?
Sí. No, mamón. Ay, no.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what you need to know about Bolivar, Ohio.
They're forting and
They have
Simon.
the fort
And Simon.
and Simon Bolivar.
Awesome.
Okay. Now, I found this case because you kind of inspired me from your case of last week.
Whoop, whoop. Not that.
The crazy lady from last week's episode, she was...
If you haven't heard it, go ahead and
listen to it. Yeah. Well, esa señora, Ariel, she was in Worst Cooks in America on the Food Network, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I remember this case that I had heard many, many times years ago about the wife swap murders.
Oh, I think I've heard of the case, but I don't remember the details. So I'm excited to hear this.
So that's how I remembered this case.
Okay, cool.
Now, on June 15th of 2017, at 4:36 p.m., 911 dispatch received a call where the caller immediately hung up.
Okay.
In cases of hang-up calls, on occasion, deputies would get sent to the location where the call came from.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No, over there in Dallas, they would just call you back.
Oh.
I know for a reason.
You've experienced
it?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, specifically on this day, since there had been like a storm recently, which messed with the signal. And the thing is that the call, they were like, it came from a landline. It wasn't a cell phone.
And what year was this again?
2015.
Oh, okay.
So they were like, let's go to the house, right? So officers made their way to 9115 Dolphin Street Southwest, just outside of Bolivar, Ohio. And as they arrived to the farm and walked toward the home, they noticed that the front door was open and they could see someone lying on the floor.
Oh, no.
Officers gave verbal commands but did not receive a response. And then they heard a gunshot.
Oh, shit. While they're there?
Yeah, like right there.
Madre.
They rushed inside the home and found 25-year-old Jacob Stockdale on the floor right by the door.
Wow.
Now, he was still alive despite bleeding profusely from shooting himself in the head.
Oh, my God. So él se quería matar.
Yes. But he wasn't the only person in the home. The bodies of 54-year-old Kathy Stockdale, Jacob's mother, and his 21-year-old little brother, James Stockdale, were also found in the home. Mm-hmm. They were both deceased and had also been shot.
Oh, no.
We later learned that Kathy had been shot in the head and face.
Shit.
And James had also been shot in the face.
Damn.
Based on what was found at the scene, it was clear that Jacob shot his mom and brother with a 20-gauge shotgun before turning the gun on himself.
Damn. These people in shotguns, dude.
Yeah.
Damn. That's crazy.
So let's back up to the beginning and learn more about the Stockdales. So the Stockdale family consisted of parents Tim and Kathy and their 4 sons, Calvin, Charles, Jacob, and James. So in that order.
There's boy moms.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Kathy was born on November 19th, 1962 in Hoffman Estates, Illinois, to parents Morris and Barbara Miller. Otra Bárbara.
Mira la Bárbara, pues, ¿qué anda haciendo allá?
Pero, pues, Miller, pues.
Miller, pues, ay, no te digo. Siéntate, pues.
She was one of 3 children. After graduating from Beaver Creek High School in 1981, where she participated in track, cross country, and soccer, she attended Ohio State University. Mm-hmm. At Ohio State, she continued playing soccer and was part of the women's soccer team. In 1985, she graduated with a degree in agriculture with a major in agronomy.
Wow. Okay.
I didn't know what agronomy was.
I actually do know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do. Because in Mexico, agronomo is like the study of like animals, like the study of cattle and like all of that. I think that's what it is.
Okay, so agronomy is the science and practice of soil management
and
crop production.
You know what? Okay, I got confused. So because I know I have a cousin of mine que es un agrónomo, and he was like the I guess cropping, like ¿cómo se le llama?
Well, I mean, it has to do with crop production.
Yeah, something
and the
about
soil.
cropping. I know that much. So okay, I wasn't that far off. I knew it was something like that. Anyway,
so that's what she what's her major and with the specialty in agronomy. So while in college, she met Tim, Miss Kathy. The two hit it off. They had a lot in common and were both studying agriculture, if I'm not mistaken. So they began to date, and then the two married in 1985. The Stockdales lived in the city, but after the birth of their sons, they decided to leave it behind for a quieter, safer environment for their children. And that is when they moved to the farm on Dolphin Street.
Well, I mean, they were both in the agriculture field, so I'm guessing that they wanted their own farm y tener su ahí donde también
para
hacer
andar corriendo sus pollos and chickens and stuff.
Yeah,
y luego también Tim dice que when they lived in the city, I think they had just moved to like a specific house, and that they heard like right away, they ended up hearing like gunshots.
Oh, shit. They
And
were
then
like,
he
they
was
weren't
like-
used to it, I guess.
And then
because-
he was just like, no, we're
Yeah.
not doing this. So
Yeah.
they agreed that like, hey, it's just better if we.
I
you
hear
know.
gunshots all the time around my house. Around my house, girl.
With the knowledge of agriculture Kathy and Tim had, just like you said, they became a homesteading family, raising and killing the meat they ate and growing many of their own vegetables.
Dude, my lifelong dream, side note, and I know probably people hate me for this, but I just want to like have potatoes and carrots. Because if you see those TikTok people, the gardening TikTok, girl, cuando sacan las pinches potatoes and they pop them out con la root, that sound is so fucking satisfying.
Really?
Oh my God. Yesterday I was watching this lady pop out like I don't know how many carrots.
Did you ever try to, when you were in school, did you ever, like, they made you grow like un frijol y lo plantas
Sí,
and
güey,
shit, una
pero,
planta?
you know, I kill everything.
No, you don't.
Desde chiquita. Yeah. I've never been good at plants and stuff.
Is it hard to grow potatoes?
I don't know, pero I know based on what I saw on TikTok, que los meten adentro como de kind of like a big bucket. And then they start, because, you know, they grow on the ground. And then the thing is, the most satisfying thing to me is just to put your hands inside and get all of these potatoes. Like, it looks so awesome. And then the carrots igual. Like, they'll go and they'll pick them and say, click, like the little, oh my God, it's so cool.
I always say, like, I just want to grow jalapenos.
Your dad had chiles like last year in the backyard.
No, he didn't. Not those type of chiles. I'm talking about like jalapenos, así like jalapenos, big, like you can just stuff with cream cheese and wrap with bacon.
Oh,
and
she took it to another level.
And then I always say that I'm going to, you know, because it's for like spring, right? You buy the seeds or whatever, but I never do. Maybe I will.
Maybe you will. But my father-in-law, one time, he thought that he was going to grow like a whole bunch of chiles on the side of his house. And then he had like chiles and epazote and stuff. And then everything died. And then he was mad because everything died. It was the most funniest thing
Wasn't
ever.
there like a freeze or something?
I don't know what happened, but everything died. And then, but the thing is, when they grow stuff, then they want you to eat it. And it's like so much. And you're like, I don't want that. Want this.
Yeah, like, well, like my tío and my cousin, like they grow a lot of stuff in their
but
backyard.
they
And they like
eat it there because their
but then
stores are kind of far and stuff like that.
But they even pass it around to us because they have a lot.
They have a lot.
But they have who to give it to. But like mom and dad.
Like right now, my suegra and my suegro, they have 2 pecan trees. Or 3, or I don't know how many. Girl, these people have so many pecans. And everybody that comes by, they want to give you bags of pecans. So I told Stella, give me pecan. I only want 3. Like, please.
Because you're going to make a salad.
Because I was going to make a salad. But they were going to give you like una pinche.
No, and then I was telling, who was I telling? I think I was telling one of my other brothers. He's like, you know, they have them separated by size. They have 2 bucks.
Stop.
Yeah, they have the 2 containers.
So, anyway, we're not going.
I'm sorry.
Down
like,
that route.
Okay. Anyways. So that's what they did. They became, like I said, a homesteading family, and
with pecans.
No, with
chickens.
Yeah, and they, you know, Kathy cooked from scratch. Like not only did they grow everything and raised everything that they ate, like she cooked from scratch.
That's what
you
I'm
name
talking
it,
about.
just like pan.
She was in her sourdough era.
Probably before it was a thing.
Before it was a thing, yeah.
Everything was organic, which meant that the boys were not allowed to have any form or type of junk food.
Oh. I mean, I get that too, because right now with all those red dyes and all of that, I get it. And I know that it affects my son a lot, like his stomach and stuff. So he'd be acting crazy. Pero sometimes también, like un little dulcecito, you know.
No te pases de verga.
No,
I mean, we grew up that way and we're fine, right?
Yeah, I think. Like, girl, we used to eat like pickles with all of this like red dye and Kool-Aid and shit.
Yeah, y luego le metías un hot Cheeto in the middle of the pickle.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Y mira, I'm fine, I think.
And I look young.
I think.
Pero de adentro te estás pudriendo.
Pudriendo. No, pobrecita. But no, I understand where she's coming from también.
Like, especially también when you have kids, you know?
Yeah, pero... And then she had 4 boys?
Yes.
Imagine trying to calm all those boys down y luego dándoles azúcar? Yeah, it must be difficult.
That's a myth, but that's another story for another day.
Yeah, please.
Tim and Kathy raised their sons in a very strict household where not a lot, if any, outside influence was allowed.
No TV, no radio.
They were homeschooled.
Oh.
And according to Kathy, it was the only way to make sure her children learned wholesome values and weren't influenced by the outside world.
I get that, though.
The Stockdales were known as a very tight-knit, religious, wholesome family. Mm-hmm. They were devout Christians and were members of the Zion Reformed Church. They even formed their own band called the Stockdale Family Band. I
remember that. Yeah. Okay.
And they played bluegrass music. So bluegrass music is like a subgenre of country music that blends old-time music, blues, and jazz. The instruments used for bluegrass are the banjo, the fiddle, the guitar, mandolin, and the upright bass.
Mm-hmm.
And it features fast tempos and close harmonies. So the band consisted of Tim, who played guitar, and, Tim is the dad. Calvin, which is the oldest son, he played the banjo. Charles played the mandolin. Jacob played the fiddle. And then James, the youngest, played the upright bass. Their music was a mix of gospel and a lot of stories from living on a farm and a touch of comedy. For example, one of the fun songs they performed, according to James, was called 40 Acres and a Fool. So it was about a farmer whose neighbor moved in from the city and didn't know much about farming. They do like a comedy bit back and forth called Arkansas Traveler between an old farmer who's out in his field and an out-of-towner who is lost and comes up asking questions. So you can tell that you sang about what they knew, like their life
about
on
their
the farm,
experiences.
about their life on the farm and gospel and, what they believed religious-wise.
Okay.
The band formally began playing bluegrass in 2004 and began playing publicly around 2006.
Oh, they went public.
Yes.
They okay.
Yeah. They played at churches and festivals. They gained a following and became very successful, with Kathy taking on the role as the band manager.
Okay.
They played at several...
I imagine that she must have been like so strict, so she had everything under control. Like, you're gonna do this, and because of that, they were successful. Sometimes when you have something so organized, they're able to bring more success than when you don't.
And then, it has to be a lot because you're managing. It's not like it's like a solo act. It's a whole ass band. You have 4 kids,
but they listen to her.
Yeah.
Because if it was somebody else, if it was like a random ass ding dong from the street, then they wouldn't have listened to her. Pero ellos, como eran sus hijos, they were probably like, oh shit, we have to do what she says. But see, my kids, oh hell nah. They wouldn't listen to me one fucking bit. I told them to turn left, they would have turned right.
On purpose.
Just to piss me off.
Yeah.
Be like, you see me turning right, mom? Huh? You see me? Like that. Especially my son.
But I think also, and we'll get into it, but obviously it has to do with how they were raised.
Yeah, respect and and their values and stuff.
No, and they were so isolated.
Yeah, but see, they didn't know any. Well, yeah, mine ahorita cree que es Demon Slayer and shit, so.
They played at several venues in the area over the years, such as Stark County Fair and as the house band at the Amish Country Theater in Holmes County, Walnut Creek, and at the Canton Symphony Orchestra fundraiser.
You imagine, like, Kathy was, like, booking them. Like
yeah,
that. She was booking them like, okay, we're gonna do this weekend. That's awesome for her.
You're running shit.
She's running shit, yeah.
They'd even travel to like different like neighboring states and also perform at the neighboring states. They also went on to win first place awards in regional bluegrass contests over the years.
Damn, so they were like kind of big.
Yeah. As a band, the family would go on to release 4 or 5 albums.
Es todo? Los singles.
2 before the shootings.
The mistapes.
Grass-Fed was the first one. It was self-produced and it was released in 2006. The second, called Bluegrass in the Backwoods, was released in 2009. And then the other 3 were digital releases, obviously later on after the shootings happened and all of that. So now during the whirlwind of the Stockdales family's band success, Jacob was not only part of his family's band, but he was also part of the Holmes County Bluegrass Band, but only until 2014.
Okay.
And in 2015, Jacob and James created an album together called Farm Fresh.
Let's do it, Farm Fresh.
Yeah.
I like that name.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm telling you, they pulled from what they knew and it was successful. They were successful. I mean, they were... If you go online and pull up their performances, they're good. Yeah,
that's awesome.
And you have to be, you can't fake bluegrass, in my opinion. Like, it's very...
particular.
Jacob was extremely talented with the fiddle. So Jacob was born on May 28th, 1992.
Oh, he was your age.
Yeah. He began taking violin lessons at the age of 7, but switched his focus to the fiddle a year later. So a fiddle is like a violin, essentially.
Yes. It's smaller.
I'm not sure what I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. Oh.
He said that he had various teachers over the years for short periods of times. And then he spent a lot of time on his own practicing and figuring it out, like el solo.
That's crazy, dude.
The people that can do that?
Yes.
I couldn't. I tried to learn to play guitar. And
I remember. That was like in 15 years ago.
Yeah. And I just could not.
And it's okay you had YouTube.
Yeah. And I think I bought a DVD too or something
Or a
like
book
that.
or something.
Yeah.
Y no pudiste.
No, I just never like really tried. I think I did it like
No, pero también,
for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you did it for a little bit. But I'm just saying, like, people that are really invested in that's cool. Like, that's amazing. For them to be able to figure out a whole ass instrument, that people that play for years, that's crazy.
Over the years, Jacob played in fiddle contests.
Wow.
At least 7 a year.
What?
Yes.
Golly.
He became an award winner for his talent.
No, he was like, when you say fiddler player, he was like top notch fiddler player because he
Yes.
was like doing the work. He was doing the back work to get better, you
Yes.
know? So that's awesome.
One of them was being named the Ohio Grand Fiddle Champion in 2012.
Danger.
Afterward, he traveled to Idaho for the national competition where he placed 12th in his age category
What the hell?
for like the whole U.S.
Yeah.
You know?
I didn't even know they had a national championship of fiddlers.
Bitch, I'm sure they have one for whatever you could think of, you know?
Okay.
Imagine just finding the thing that you like excel at.
Wow. That is amazing.
Yeah.
I
Now,
excel at so many things, so I could never find.
because you just have
I
so
just
many.
have so many.
Care to name one?
No. I'm a good cook.
You are.
That's about it.
You should go to,
The national cooking competition?
you should take a cooking class. Like,
Didn't you just say I was a good cook? Now you're telling me to take
no,
a cooking
like
class.
to like learn, like, you know how they say like the actual steps or the proper way that they would call it or something?
Nah.
Okay.
I like my own cooking.
Yeah. Now, America was introduced to the Stockdale family when they appeared on the show, Wife Swap. Okay. Wife Swap.
But wait, before you start that, like from them being so close-knit and so like quiet and so all of that, for them to have gone out the box to
And
go there,
yes.
you know? That's crazy.
And we'll get to,
Okay.
I bring that up. También.
No, I'm not going to say crazy no more. 'Cause I feel like I say crazy too much. I'm going to say that's outrageous.
Así?
That's outlandish.
So Wife Swap is a reality TV show that was first launched in the UK in 2003.
Really? I didn't know that they were from the UK.
The premise of the show is in the name is, it's self-explanatory. Two families that are vastly different from each other swap moms for 2 weeks. And I think sometimes también los papás cambiaban or some shit.
No, sí, cambian. No,
Right.
no, nada más las mamás.
Okay.
Just the mamás. I remember watching the show. It was like crazy to see somebody that didn't give their kids any candy and shit. And then the other mom would be like, yeah, you can have whatever you want.
Yeah, before
It
you go
was-
to bed too,
And the
yeah.
kids were like, yeah, you know.
During the first week, of the switch, the quote-unquote new mom adheres to the rules the original mom left behind.
Les dejaban como un little book.
Like a manual.
Yeah, like a manual.
For how she would run the household. Like, hey, these are the rules. This is what I do with my family. Now you have to adhere to those rules. During the second week, the new mom imposes her own rules, which of course creates drama, right? The American version of the hit show premiered on September 26, 2004 in America. Now,
That makes me feel old.
in 2007, ABC, which is a network, was specifically looking for a bluegrass family and found the Stockdales through David Russell, who was a family friend. And, they knew each other through bluegrass. Yeah,
Bluegrass,
because
yeah.
he managed the BuckeyeBluegrass.com and BluegrassMusician.com websites. So he knew the Stockdales.
Yeah, because they were pretty famous around what they did.
Yes. Now, based on what we know of the Stockdales, it seemed out of character that they participate in a reality show. Tim and Kathy were reluctant at the very beginning, but the boys were ecstatic about having this possible, new thing that they have never, been a part of.
Yeah,
They were
and I feel like with that, their mom had to kind of be a little bit more open-minded or be a little bit more looser about it, so maybe that's what también les llamó la atención, de que maybe she won't be so like uptight or ¿cómo se le llama? Strict.
Or maybe I thought too later, I was like, maybe she thought this could be good exposure for the band.
Exactly. Sí, también. Because she was on it, girl.
Yeah, she was managing them.
Managing them, yeah.
Eventually, the family decided it would be an interesting family thing that they could do and share together. So the episode aired in 2008 in April, if I'm not mistaken, and it followed Kathy Stockdale, a conservative, strict mom from Ohio who swapped places with Lori Tomkovic from Illinois, who was more of a free spirit.
Yeah, because they're not that far from each other, Illinois and Ohio, right?
No.
So, I mean, it wasn't like, pero they probably lived totally different lives. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Now, I mentioned how sheltered Tim and Kathy raised their sons, but it was on Y-Swap that we learned to what extent. Again, like I said, they were homeschooled, weren't allowed to eat any junk food. Mm-hmm. They worked on the farm with their dad and were in a family band.
Did they go to school? Oh, they were homeschooled,
yes.
You said. Okay.
They were not allowed to date. In the episode, Kathy said, quote, "I think that dating has physical dangers like pregnancy. It's not worth it," end quote. They weren't allowed to watch TV. They weren't allowed to play video games. They weren't allowed to listen to music unless it was pre-approved by Kathy. They weren't allowed to cuss. Certain books, like certain media, had to be pre-approved by Kathy.
Wow.
They were able to earn privileges through chores. It was through a token system and everything was logged on a chart.
But isn't that like a lot of work for Kathy too? Like for her to keep up with all of that?
Kathy stated that 20 tokens allowed them to listen to a show on the radio, which had to be pre-approved by Kathy.
What the fuck?
Also, the chart addressed attitudes. Just because the job or the chore was done, it didn't mean that it was done in the right way. Meaning that you had to do the chore right, but with the good attitude about
Girl, no mames.
If not, you wouldn't get a token.
I used to hate that shit. My mom would be like, pero mira cómo estás haciendo eso. Pero no te estás...
Y con esa cara.
Con esa cara. Pero I'm doing it. No, pero mira, nada más estás de malas. I'm like, but I'm doing it. But, I mean, obviously, no lo quiero hacer, you know? Pero she would always say...
You're a kid, you know? Yeah, like, I mean, I get it.
She would be like, pero mira nada más qué cara tan... Y lo vuelves a hacer si no lo hiciste bien. And you're like, fuck, man. You would be like 2 days fucking cleaning the restroom because you could never get it right. Porque no estabas haciendo mala cara, güey.
And ni modo que le digas, pues entonces tú hazlo. No, like, you can't answer.
¿Quedarás que te voltearan el hocico?
No.
Do you want me to go pick up my teeth from over there? No, ma'am. No, not
so,
my mom.
Por eso tienes la cara, because you're holding in your...
Yeah, pero ¿sabes qué? No, man. No, pobrecitos.
In addition, the boys...
So all I can think right now when you said that they can't eat junk food is that they've never had Gushers.
You love Gushers.
I love Gushers. That's sad. Oh my God.
Or Hot Cheetos.
Yes. All the red dye.
Red dye 40.
Yes. Oh, fuck. No coffee?
No. When you're a kid, I don't think you care. Well, obviously the older kids were older, pero, you know, like, no pinche airheads.
No coquita.
Not Dr. Pepper.
Not Dr. Pepper?
Not orange soda.
Dude, no pickles? I wonder. Pickles,
no,
maybe.
I'm sure she probably pickled stuff. Like she
pickled like onions and stuff.
Yeah.
Pero, oh my God, pobrecitos.
I don't think it's the same unless you buy it, you know, because then you like.
Well, I mean, I guess, I don't know.
In addition, the boys also signed contracts.
What?
To show up on time for everything they did or they risk being fined.
Fined with, wait, what? And how are they going to pay their fines? With what money?
For instance, their family ate breakfast at 7:30 every morning, in the morning, of course. And if the boys were late, she'd give them like a 2 grace period of 2 minutes. So she would grab a timer, 2 minutes. If they were later than 2 minutes, she'd fine them 25 cents.
Oh. What if they didn't want to eat breakfast? They didn't have a choice. Jeez Louise. Okay, keep going.
Now on Y-Swap, the moms, like we just stated earlier, you know, they would leave like each other manuals about the rules of the home. And in her manual that Kathy left for Lori, she noted, quote, "Children need structure, and there is plenty of structure in this house," end quote.
No, I completely agree, but I mean, there's
no te pases de
no te pases. Like there's I guess there's a line, and maybe some people, and don't get me wrong, if you have that structure at your home, it works for you. That is amazing, and you keep going because I wish I could do that. My kids don't fucking listen to me.
Yeah,
pero I mean, at the same time, I mean,
tampoco you're not saying that your kids are wild.
They're not wild, but what I'm saying is, at the same time, you know. Every other people have their own issues, other kind of stuff, you know, going on. But if that works for you, awesome. But that seems like a lot of work. Like, ¿qué tal si, like, I guess that's the only thing she did. She didn't really have another job, you know? But, like, imagine, like, having to keep up. That'd be too much for me. Yo me hubiera vuelto loca.
The Stockdale boys' day was planned from top to bottom, day in and day out.
Like you
When
have
they
to
would,
sit there.
when what they ate, what their chores were, when they had to practice, what their hobbies were, how much time they had to spend on everything. It was all managed by Kathy.
Wow.
While she and Tim both agreed on how the boys should be raised, it was Kathy who implemented the rules. Besides running the farm, Tim also had a full-time job. If I'm not mistaken, he delivered animal nutrients to farms across the state, which meant that he was gone a lot of the day. As the years passed and the boys grew, the two oldest, Calvin and Charles, moved out of the home to pursue, their careers. Calvin moved to Michigan and worked at Hillside College. And then Charles moved to Philadelphia and was studying to be a doctor.
Which is funny to me because I don't know where Kathy gets this because before at the beginning of the actual case you discussed that with Barbara Miller, que she was out there playing soccer and she was doing track. Like she was out there doing whatever she wanted.
Tampoco, we don't know.
No, but I'm just saying she was para ese tiempo para que ella anduviera haciendo todo eso track and
it's just
soccer and all of that.
I think.
And she went to college, so why not?
I mean, her kids are going to school.
But you know what I mean?
No, but I think, también, I thought that too. Like, how'd you
go from one thing to another?
Yeah, like, were you... obviously, we don't know the extent of her background. I don't know how strict her parents were, and she played soccer and all, but it doesn't mean anything, Mm-hmm. I just wonder how you go from that. Did you really have did you guys experience something, a traumatic that you're like, oh, we really need to shelter our kids, or maybe, I don't know. Yeah. But I had that same thought too. Like, how do you go from it seems like you were able to experience things as you were younger, like a young woman growing up and
that's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying que her kids are not educated or anything. What I'm saying is it seems like she was able to experience soccer and track and all these things and then from there even get married and now she just doesn't let her kids you know what I mean?
Date.
That's crazy.
I wonder if how when she was allowed to date or maybe even Tim, his background.
Yeah. Maybe he's the one that wanted it that way and she just kind of took over and she was just good at it.
And maybe they just both, I mean, they both agreed. They both thought that was the safest.
No, and I get that because sometimes when you see that your sons are kind of or your children are kind of getting out of the line, then you're like, hey, cálmense. So then you kind of had to implement some rules.
And I know Kathy también she didn't want her sons to be influenced by other people, like other friends.
And I get that. And I really do get that. But I mean, come on.
I know everybody, does whatever they want with their kids. It's your kids, your business. But just don't be hurting anybody.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, Charles and Calvin, they, moved out of the home. They ended up getting married, having their own kids, moving away to college and so on and so forth. Though they were not part of the band anymore, the family as a whole would occasionally reunite and continue to play together. Mm-hmm. Only Jacob and James remained in the band with their dad. And there was a fourth member. I think his name was Joe Steiner. And he was also it was just one less person in the band. And,
I guess he took over the instruments.
The banjo. The banjo. Okay. He played the banjo. So at the time of the shootings in 2017, I'm sorry, I think earlier I said the shootings were in 2015, it's in 2017. Calvin and Charles lived out of town and Tim wasn't in the home. He was out working. Mm-hmm. Now we're back to the scene of the crime, right? Jacob was rushed to Canton's Altman Hospital and then he was airlifted to Cleveland Metro Hospital, where he would end up spending a lot of time in critical care. In the following days of the shootings, he underwent several procedures and surgeries, and his prognosis was good. The following day, on Friday, Tim issued a statement about what happened, or about his wife. He said, quote, "Kathy has been my beloved wife of 32 years and a wonderful mother to our 4 sons. She loved nothing more than being a mother and a grandmother. She had a strong love of learning and was passionate about her Christian faith, natural health, and organic farming."
Okay.
End quote. Calvin, which again, Calvin is the oldest brother. Calvin said about his youngest brother, James, quote, "James, our youngest brother, has always been a catalyst for family fun. Aside from being a gifted musician, James enjoyed dancing and had an innate love of people. James was working on a business degree and hoped to go into the business side of entertainment. And he leaves behind many friends and a family that loves him dearly," end quote.
And how old were they too?
He was 21. James was 21, and he was the youngest.
And so then how old was Jacob?
Jacob was 25.
Okay.
Yeah. The following week, Calvin released another statement, and this time about Jacob. He said, quote, "I don't know why Jacob did what he did last week, but I do know that he is my brother. I speak for our family when I say that we love him and we forgive him." End quote.
Okay.
That's hard.
What do you mean?
Like to forgive like your own family member for doing that to your other family members. I can imagine.
I think that honestly, I just feel like their faith was so strong.
Yes,
that
yeah, of course.
maybe they left it to
God.
and they were like, okay, you're gonna and I mean, I feel like a lot of us should learn a little bit about that, about forgiveness and that kind of thing. Pero I mean, yeah, it must have been really difficult. You're right, but I mean, ¿qué más hacen? Ya sé, lo hecho ya hecho está.
Yeah. When the news of the shooting became public knowledge, the community was stunned and in disbelief.
Well, yeah, the bluegrass community.
Well, just wherever they lived, like people knew.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like everybody that knew the family,
The
and
church,
how,
the church members.
I would have been shocked too. Shit.
Be like, God damn.
Goddamn. Well, not they don't. I don't think they say.
Oh
goddamn.
no, but you know,
Sorry.
the fact that it was one of their own who had killed the mom and a brother of his, and then why?
Why?
You know.
Why?
Neighbor Steve Todd said of the Stockdale family, quote, "They are the most loving, well-adjusted, admirable family you could possibly want to know. It is an absolute shock. It is obviously very tragic." Mm-hmm. Another family friend, Sue Morrow, who knew the family because her son had also been homeschooled, stated that Kathy was a wonderful mother and James a funny boy, and that the Stockdales were a caring family. Again, from the outside in, you know, the Stockdales appeared to be a loving family and everything seemed to be going well for them, you know, with everything with the band and just like their farm and stuff like that. I mean, just a year before, Jacob and James gave a phone interview to Dan Kane with Ticket Magazine and raved about how great it was, you know, being in a family band with your family. When asked what it was like being in a band, James said, quote, "It has been really formative for us. We had 4 brothers working, singing together, and before long, we figured out that people like to hear our bluegrass and old-time sound. Our family is no different than any other. You're always going to have hard times, differences, and conflicts, but music was something that kept us together. We always had that in common," end quote. And then Jacob said, quote, "Our dad was always a big inspiration behind us getting into this old-time acoustic music. We'd have great music nights where dad would play rhythm guitar and sometimes we'd pull out pots and pans and keep the rhythm." So it just sounds like it just came naturally to them to, you know, just be together as a family, you know, what sounds like all day, every day.
I feel like they probably didn't know any better.
Yeah. That's
like
all they knew.
Didn't know that's all they knew. So they were like, okay. And it sounds like Jacob was a little bit more inclined to talk about his dad than really his mom, you know?
No one could have expected that just a year later, Jacob would kill his mother and younger brother, whom he was close to. I mean,
I don't know why he killed his brother, though.
And they were the only 2 boys left in the house, right?
Yeah.
Like Calvin and Charles ya se habían ido and, you know, formed their own families, their own career paths. So during the press conference after the shootings, Sheriff George T. Mayer, I think it's how you say his last name, stated that they were still investigating the shooting as far as a possible motive. He also added that they had never been called to the Stockdale residence before the shootings and had no previous run-ins with Jacob Stockdale before June 15th.
I mean, they wouldn't mess with anything.
Yeah.
Like they were just at their house, you know? Now, I have a question. Did he pass away?
Who?
Jacob.
No.
No, okay.
He was just
he was in the
ICU.
Yeah. Pero, so they haven't, I guess, interviewed him yet.
Police tried to interview Jacob while he was in the hospital in hopes of possibly getting any information from him, but they were unsuccessful. According to Sheriff Mayer, not only did Jacob have difficulty communicating, but he also declined to speak to them under the advice of his legal counsel.
Ah, okay. Pues no estaba tan perdido el compa, eh?
The Stark County prosecutor, John Ferrero, held off on charging Jacob until he recovered from his extensive injuries, which took more than a year.
Damn.
In September of 2018, a grand jury was convened and Jacob Stockdale was indicted on 2 counts of murder with firearm specification. And after learning of the charges, Jacob turned himself in.
Oh, okay.
He planned to plead not guilty by reason of insanity.
Wait, what?
In light of this, a request for a psychological evaluation by the prosecutor's office was made to make sure Jacob was competent to stand trial.
Yeah.
The competency evaluation was conducted by Dr. Luna Jones. She found that Jacob did not have a mental illness that prevented him from understanding the legal proceedings and assisting in his defense.
I was about to say.
At a hearing on January 7th of 2019, Jacob's defense attorney, Wayne Graham, requested another psychological evaluation to again determine his competency and to see if he was sane at the time that he committed the murders.
The fuck?
Graham also informed Judge Frank Farchione, I think that's how you say his name, perdón, señor Frank,
Perdón, señor Farchione.
that he planned to submit a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity for his client.
Pero that makes no sense.
I mean, why else?
But yeah, pero I mean, say I did it or whatever.
I mean, you know,
obviously
he did
killed
it.
him.
Yeah, pero not guilty by reason of insanity.
Okay.
So the second competency evaluation was conducted by Dr. James Karpowick,
I don't know.
which was agreed by the prosecutor's office and the defense. According to Karpowick, mental illness would hinder Jacob in understanding the charges against him and assisting in his own defense. However, he also added that competency could be restored within a year with intensive mental health treatment and addressing his depression.
Okay. So
Obviously, time had passed.
time had passed.
Yeah. And, you know, you had to make sure that he was competent to stand trial, and then also make sure
At
that
this time, not whenever he did.
and no, but
okay.
then they also had to make sure that he was sane at the time that he
Yeah,
committed
that's
the
what I'm
shootings.
saying.
You know,
Because
so
in my understanding, I'm over here thinking, okay, so is he sane the time when he killed his mom and brother, or are you trying to see if he's sane now?
both.
Oh, okay.
Now, this was tough because now you had two psychologists stating two different diagnoses.
Mm-hmm.
Judge Forcioni stated that he would have a final determination within the next 2 weeks. It was decided that Jacob would be admitted to Heartland Behavioral Health Care, which is a facility that provides inpatient care for acutely mentally ill adults, in May of 2019, and would remain there until he improved.
This is just going a whole different way that I thought it was going to go. Like, I just figured he would have been like, yeah, I killed her because she pissed me off. You know, or something like that. Like, you know, I just didn't think that that this was going this route. I don't know why I figured that he was going to be like, yeah, I killed her because, you know, or whatever. But now, like, this whole thing, like, now he's insane and all this other stuff. It's crazy. I don't know. Not crazy. What did I say?
Outrageous.
Outlandish.
On January 24th of 2020, Jacob's psychologist, Dr. James Ponto from Heartland Behavioral, submitted a report to the Stark County Common Pleas Court concluding that he was now competent.
Okay, so it's time.
Ponto stated that he had worked with Jacob for 7 months and had diagnosed him with major neurocognitive disorder. This diagnosis was based on 24-hour observations and interactions with himself and the staff. Mm-hmm. According to Ponto, during his time in Heartland, Jacob initially had trouble communicating and would mumble responses. And after his medication was adjusted, he made quick improvements. During his treatment, Jacob underwent restoration with the help of flashcards, quizzes, and mock trials. According to Ponto, due to Jacob receiving treatment after his injuries quickly, I think it was right after 7 weeks after the shooting, it improved his chances and he made a cognitive recovery to the point where he could grasp the proceedings of trial. Because you also had to prepare him to be ready for trial and that he understands what's going on, you know? Mm-hmm. Now, it is common for patients who suffer from traumatic brain injury to plateau in their recovery after a year or two. And Ponto believed that was now the case for Jacob. Like, he wasn't going to get any better. Yeah, like, aquí quedó. Though he noted that Jacob still had some impairments, he believed that it wouldn't affect him in any meaningful way. His main concern was the amount of time it took Jacob to process information, and that he may need accommodations to understand information, or he would need like written documents to use as reference during the trial. Now, attorney Eugene Casantes, who was made co-counsel of the defense the previous May, questioned Ponto about psychotic disorders. Mm-hmm. In his report, Ponto had ruled out psychotic disorders for Jacob. that he suffered from any psychotic disorders. However, Casantes challenged this due to staff reports stating that Jacob experienced delusions and made bizarre statements, such as claiming that he could walk through walls and telling a family member that insects were spying on him.
Well, that could be a side effect of his meds.
Pancho stated that those quote-unquote symptoms weren't credible and Jacob might have been faking them. He believed that this might have been the case since Jacob declined a complete written examination that designed to determine if there was any psychotic disorder. And when Pancho followed up with Joe, who the fuck is
Who the fuck is... Girl, I had to take that. I was like... Why did I say... I can't laugh. My abs hurt. Oh, I said, who the fuck is Joe? I can't laugh.
I don't know who Joe is. I don't know who Joe is. I don't know where that came from.
But why the fuck did I say, who the fuck is Joe?
It's not like I wrote Joe on here. It says Jacob. Is it Joe talking about me? Are my ears red?
I can't fucking laugh, bro.
And when Pancho followed up with Jacob, after being made aware of the delusions by staff, he denied having any hallucinations.
Okay. He's playing them now.
So Casantes countered that it could be Jacob's paranoia, a symptom of schizophrenia, causing him to be guarded around the psychologist.
Now he's schizophrenic? Fuck.
However, Pancho said it was unlikely.
Yeah.
Well, they're just trying to
No, I understand.
Their job,
their job.
The defense.
But, I mean... Oh, wow. Okay. Can we just get to what are we going to do with this trial, baby?
Judge Farchione ordered the psychodiagnostic clinic to complete the additional psychological evaluation to determine if Jacob was sane at the time of the shootings.
Because that's okay. On top of, in retrospect, that's exactly what we're supposed to be doing right now is trying to figure out.
Well, they are, but you have to,
Yeah, I get it. But what I'm saying in retrospect, that's what they're wanting to figure out is that if he was sane when he shot his brother.
Well, yeah, but he's going to trial regardless. So he needs to be able to stand trial también,
Yeah. And no, I understand where you're coming from and in the lawyer side of what you're saying. But to me, in my mind, it's like, bro, no te estás haciendo pendejo. Come on, let's go.
But I need you to get on this side.
Okay, fine. I'll be on this side.
No, just understanding,
No, I understand. But I'm just saying, let's get exactly what he just said. What is his name? Judge Fortione. Tell him to figure it out. Was he competent whenever he killed his brother?
At another hearing, according to Dr. Arcangela Wood, who worked at the psychodiagnostic clinic in Acon, stated that in her opinion, Jacob was not suffering from any severe mental illness or disease or defect at the time that he, committed the crimes. So due to the postponement of the trial due to Jacob's injuries, his recuperation, and COVID-19, the trial was finally set for May 2021.
Shit, that wasn't too long ago.
No,
5 years ago?
2021 was 5 years ago.
Fuck.
Now, before the trial began in April 2021, Jacob changed his plea to guilty for the murder charges, and he was sentenced to 15 years to life for each count of murder. He is eligible for parole in August of 2048, and he is serving his time at the Chillicothe Correctional Institution. Please forgive me. I'm pretty sure I said that incorrectly. Now, as far as I am aware, a motive has never been identified.
I was about to say, so why? There's just no reason. He didn't leave a letter because he was going to kill himself.
Though it is believed that their restrictive upbringing played a part or was the reason that drove Jacob to kill his mother and brother. Now, it appears that the Stockdale family stands behind Jacob and continues to support him.
Well,
I think his dad, Tim, was a lot of his, if not all, a lot of his hearings.
Really?
Yeah. So, and that's the case of the Stockdale family murders. They call it the wife swap family murders, but that's what they call it too.
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this because I feel like we didn't get any answers.
Yeah. And I think that's when it gets more frustrating.
It does.
That you at least want to know why.
I mean, like I said, his intent was to die. So,
Yeah.
se quería matar. Pero it's not like he premeditated because if he did, he would have left a letter. or he would have done something to say, "Hey, but
I mean,
he didn't.
and then it wasn't like they had guns in the house, you know.
Yeah,
that wasn't anything
obviously,
ordinary,
because they're farmers, so they had like chickens and stuff. You need like to kill a cow or even to kill a pig. You need a gun. So what I'm saying is a shotgun, first of all, and then second of all, like if your intent was to die too, wouldn't you have left like, hey, I'm doing this because of like nada? That is outlandish to me.
Yeah. I don't know.
Don't you think? Like,
no, I don't know. Like, I want to say that, maybe the fact that, they did grow up so restrictive and, you're not allowed to do what sounds like much of anything. Like your mom ran your life and, that's how you.
But my deal is like, if your their older brothers were able to get out of there and they made their life and stuff, it's not like she was like, okay, you cannot leave. Or maybe she had a rule for that too. You never know.
Maybe.
Or maybe he wanted to do something outside of the rules. Y ella no lo dejó and he got mad. Like,
and then maybe James just happened to be there.
Or try to make him stop or whatever. You never know. I mean, nobody is going to know besides those four walls.
But that's the thing. Like, he shot them in the face. Like,
in the face.
And he shot himself in the face.
Fuck, that's crazy. Outlandish.
Outrageous?
Very outrageous. Well, thank you so much for that. Let us know what you think. If you don't mind just leaving us a comment, that would be great. If you'd like to follow us on Instagram, you can at
Cafecito and Crime Pod. And if you would like to download our episodes, leave us a review and rate us. We would really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.